2000 model Chevy Cavalier Racer Special. Oh yeah, she's got all the goods, man. All the goods. Got the wheels, got the body kit, got the tail lights, got the exhaust. Look at that. All the horsepowers, man. Looks like the body kit fell off. Part of it, anyway. Sides curled on the other sides fell off. Don't know the mileage because it's digital. Not too bad on the inside. Not too bad. But here's what's funny. Check this out. Fast and Furious. Oh man, that just if that ain't nothing, if that ain't, jeez, I ain't believing that. I want to see if the other side's got it. Aftermarket tail lights, both sides. The factory ones are right here. They left them inside, so well, you know, we don't want them. No aftermarket bulbs. Everything's factory. They just did the, you know, minimum upgrade as you could. This side ain't got it. Oh well. I guess how they ran out of their parents' money for that side. She's got the cold air intake on her, and looks like some kind of aftermarket alarm or horn. There's no telling. Yeah, looks like an alarm, some sort. What's that say? Auto neon system. Yep. Theft. Aftermarket stuff. Got some stuff going on here. There's a switch underneath. Turn something on. Oh man, I just had to show that. That's too good. Not hating. I've seen a lot of these. But I know that sound when I see that muffler. I know that sound. That would be cool if it was actually put. Oh. So it's one of those where you just pull it out when you don't want it. All right. It ain't even bolted down. I would actually consider putting one of those on mine, but it would actually be properly installed. None of that crap. Because the factory box goes here. You have a little tube that comes up here to the factory box, and then it gets its cold air. You're getting hot air. That ain't no cold air intake. Oh, that's just too good. So then sits over here beside of it. Chevy Camaro with 65,000 miles on it. 3400 V6. What I've been talking about this whole time about trying to find? One of these. You don't find these anymore. It's hard to find them, especially down here. If it's not wrecked, and this one's not, there's no telling what happened to it. Something corroded though. It's all over it. Not sure what. Who knows if it's locked up or not. Ooh. Got the nasty mud. I know the oil gets drained, but what's on it? Ooh, that ain't good, sons. What's it smell like? Oof, that stinks. Smells like ain't been ran well last time it ran. So it's not wrecked, and it's in here. What's the old cat look like? Come on. Oh man, that ain't looking good. But I will say, I wouldn't mind having that set up. The little fill tube for the oil. That's pretty neat. And the valve cover, only 3400 had this. I mean, yeah, 3.4, not the 3400. Some people call it the 3400, but it's not. Interesting. I wonder why it's here. I'm about to find out. I'm going to take a ratchet, see if I can turn it over at least. It is rough. Crap all in it. I'm pretty amazed that it only has that many miles. It's got to be something. And it's a 5-speed? Oh, come on. Filling the oil can in the back seat. Man, if that's what they're running, that's awful damn thin. 5W30 and it's high mileage? Eee, that is like water. So there's not really any damage to it, so Old saying is, if it ain't wrecked, then there's something else that went wrong. More than likely, anyway. But what got me when I first looked at it was this. Usually these are all broken, faded. You can't tell the writing anymore. Had fog lights too. Sweet. It's got the gauge package. Look at the mileage. You can't really see it. 65,000 miles. Oh, look at that. Now something about GMs, I've mentioned this before time again, but when you see the temperature gauge maxed out and the car's off, more than likely it was overheated before the last time that it ever ran. So that engine's probably no good. Shifter. The shifter's shifting. All the gears are there. But yeah, that's not good. GM's really good about that. Usually they stay, their gauges usually stay where they're at when you cut the vehicle off. Till you get powered again, turn it back on, then they reset the back where they were. But seeing that, it's toast. So time to move on to something else. I believe this is 80, gotta be like an 89, 88 because of the grill. Could be as early as 90. But Oldsmobile 88. This thing's mint. It's clean. Yeah, a lot of people are probably turning away right now because of what I'm showing you. They don't like the older stuff, but man, I do. Holy cow. Wow. I mean, this whole entire thing is immaculate. I love how everything was so much better back then. The trim, the styling, the chrome. She's got power windows and locks. Trunk release, electric trunk release. Electronic climate control. Everything. Like, she is loaded to the max. Tilt column, cruise control. Everything that you would want. Cloth seats. And they're very, very soft. I cannot believe how clean this puppy is. Here we go. Chrome ashtray, which you don't see anymore. This will tell me what year it is. Ha! 91. Dang. That's something else, man. You don't see these anymore. This would be something I'd love to save. 119,000 miles. And get this. It starts with no key. The battery's still in it. Hooked up. It's dead. Oh, another thing too is they did like double weather stripping. There's like a strip here on top. And then you got this piece. It's really, really fine and mushy that seals the whole door up. Like, you can't, there's no road noise with those going down the road. Wow. Somebody messed up the back seat, of course. 3800 V6. Most of all of them had these. It's been in good shape. I looked at it already. Oil is clean. Inside the valve cover's clean. Whoever had it really took care of it. Probably an elderly couple, more than likely. Just because of how immaculate the inside is. And the whole car is. I don't even see any damage here. More than likely, you know, family got it passed down whenever they passed away. They didn't want it. Oh, and it is a Broham. Oh, yeah. Yep. That explains it all. But anyway, they more likely got it passed down, didn't want it, didn't know anything about it. Old car, oh, let's just toss it. If they'd have posted it on Marketplace and I'd have seen it, I would have probably bought it. No lie. I'm gonna sit down in this. Never had one of these. $119,000. Cool radio. Well, they must have been listening to it. It was already turned up. I like to put a jumper in it just to see what worked and what didn't. Got a crack in the windshield. But anyway, can't stay too long looking at everything and just, you know, going all over it. Cruise control, wiper delay. Oh yeah, she got all the options, all the chrome, all the trim. Buick Regal, supercharged. Huh. That'd be nice to drop down the Eurosport, wouldn't it? Here's the last one. There's another Blazer I found, and that's what I come here for. S10 Blazer parts. 4.3 four-wheel drive. Nice seats. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Door panels alright. Shuts good. I know somebody was looking for those. Only looks like there's one of them on there. Yeah, no, there's three. There's three of them on there. 220,000 miles. Already pulled some parts from it. I got the pulled the distributor out of it. I say you got a sliding glass. Now that is neat. Never knew these had that. Oh man, that's pretty freaking sweet. I'd love to have that on mine, but that's just too much work to swap it over. Got a nice grill in it. I was gonna snatch that till I found this. There ain't much left of it now. I got the oil pressure switch and a few other things. Distributor, I don't know, I may not even use the distributor because a little rusty, crusty. There's a few other 4.3s here, S10 Blazers I've looked at, but yeah, they're about all the same condition. So I guess it's gonna wrap this up. Maybe find another junkyard, check it out. We'll see. Another day, another yard. 80s Chevrolet Malibu Classic, 4-door sedan, automatic, probably a 3-speed. Looks like a 350 if I had to guess. No, 305. Yeah, even so, I'd still take it. The thing looks bone stock. And it is mint. Probably change the oil, throw some gas down it, probably fire right off. I got to looking around at the whole thing. It's been sitting for a very long time. I'm about to look at the sticker. There's no tag. It's mint. I don't see any damage to the body really. There's some stuff falling off the molding at the back. That's it. It looks like it had new tires when it was parked. A couple of them are flat. Sitting under the trees for who knows how many years. Heck, while we're at it, might as well just pull the dipstick. Here it is. I still got oil in it. They didn't drain the oil in this one. And it ain't that bad. Jeez. It smells a little bit like fuel, so it probably ran rich when it was running last. If I had to guess. Come on. Look in there. I'm betting that's probably a quadra-jet. Or quadra-junk, as I call them. Can't stand them. Column's been all tore to pieces. Somebody needed parts. Manual windows and locks. It's pretty neat. I like this. That's a pretty cool horn pad emblem. Yeah, somebody definitely sticky. Somebody definitely got their parts worth. Says 14,741, so probably 114, but the dash is mint condition besides that beating from the sun, and the pedals really have no wear on them. Look at that brake pad. Now the gas pedal does, but unless they didn't really brake much, I don't know. That's kind of insane. Everything still has their writing still on it, which is kind of amazing to me. Like the wipers, the headlight switch, there's no really like wear from pulling this and out, turning them off and on. Not much really wear on the shifter. The spring's not wore out. Usually the springs wear out, which is another reason why I'm at this yard, because I couldn't find anything at the other yard. I'm looking for S10 parts, and this one may have the spring I'm looking for. There's a spring inside the column. I bought another column off of a guy, Facebook Marketplace, about $100. Tilt column, has everything that I have, but it's tilt and it's blue. My column tore up. and I can't figure out how to fix it. So I got another column, but the springs wore out for the shifter. See, this one's springy, mine's not. So came here to find another spring for mine. You can't get them anymore. They look like this. This is what came out, and it's broke, but it's got to be that size, pretty small. So I'm gonna take the shifter out of this one and see if it's got it the same size or not. I don't know what year it is. I can't see the date on the stickers anymore. It's supposed to be right here, but it's got fold out rear windows. Didn't know they did that back then. Not in a sedan like that. That's pretty sweet. Couple lock cylinders in the floor. Oh yeah, somebody's teenager had this or something. Who knows? I opened up the trunk. Let's check that out real quick, which gets some other things that I need. Who wants to see in the trunk? I know I do. Had a CB radio. Had the antenna for it. Spare tire. Looks like it's never been used. Was dry cracked. There's the radio. Dash mate. Never heard of those. Perfect taillights. Guessing the gas tank. Yep, gas tank's right there. That was a beautiful color back in the day. Wow, you don't see that anymore. Oh, now that's neat. It has like a mercury thing in it to when it bounces a certain way that it flips the light on. That is pretty dang neat. Looks like the wiring is over here for it. Yeah, it gives it power. That's awesome. You just don't see that every day. Little things like that amaze me. I'm sorry. But anyway, there's more other GM cars. Front wheel drive should be the same as S10 for the steering column spring. I tried to take the one out of my old column, but it's non-tilt and the spring's bigger, so can't use it. I'll look around, see what else I can find in this yard. If you notice, the Oldsmobile's gone that was here. Oldsmobile called Sierra that I stripped the interior out of for my Eurosport. Yeah, I cleared up this yard a whole lot. It's about freaking time, if you ask me. But they need to put some gravel back here. It's like walking in the desert. Well, this 89 Pontiac 6000 saved the day. Got the spring out of this one for the shifter. Only 109,000 miles. 4-speed, cruise control, tilt column, wiper delay, you know, all the options. And better yet, 3.1. The better 3.1. I don't really care for the later model 3.1. They're alright, just not something I like. They're bad for intake manifold gasket failure. And these kind of do the same thing, but it's not like those. So believe I got what I need. I found some Cavalier stuff I'm gonna come back and get. And as for that Chevy Malibu, who knows for this one. But ooh, I spot a Oldsmobile called a Sierra. It's white. Yep. So who knows on this one? It could be locked up. Could have bad bearings. I don't know. I know the air cleaner or the carburetor looks pretty damn new. I mean, like it's clean. Transmission fluid looks alright. We looked at the oil. Who knows? Be a perfect candidate for the S10, but would I go through it? I don't know. 305. Really like to have a 350. But you can't just find them anymore. They want insane prices for those things. They act like they're gold nowadays, just like they do a 4.3. It's ridiculous. And I gave up on that 4.3 at the other yard because when I pulled the valve covers off and looked at everything, it was pretty gummed up. So I passed on that one. Even though it had 135,000 miles and it was wrecked, it just wasn't worth it. So may include some more junkyard finds. I'm going to come back to this yard and get some stuff for the Cavalier, power window switches and whatever. And I got to get a steering shaft off of a Jeep Cherokee for the S10. So I don't know. I'll include more when I come back. If not, well, you'll see. Alright, so we made it back. I got a couple things. Like I said, I had mentioned, I got a steering column for the old truck. Changing the steering wheel, probably amongst of other few things while I am doing all this. But however, I fixed the spring problem. Remember I was mentioning how it didn't have tension on it. It's very, very tight now, like it's supposed to be. The connections and everything, trying to plug everything back up, test it all before I finally mount, hook up the column, all that good stuff, because you can't get to any of this with the column actually in place. So I want to make sure all this stuff works, because it came out of a wrecked truck. It was a daily until it was wrecked, but I want to make sure that everything works. And I've already ran into one problem. So the switch down there plugs up, and it works. But problem is, this guy doesn't. Now, the connector, everything else plugs up. We got the turn signal cam, all that stuff plugged up. The blue connector that's supposed to go, here we are, supposed to go over here. There is 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 pins that plugs into. Actually, it might be more than that. No, there's 4. Technically, there's 5, but you're not using one. So anyway, the little guy goes in this way, straight in, but the issue is the pins are different. Some reason, now this came out of the same year truck. I don't know if it's because that one was a factory 2.8 and this one was a 2.5 originally or what. However, that should not matter when it comes to the internals on the inside of the cab. Mine's an 85, but it's a first year of 1985, so maybe there's a difference between years. I don't know. However, when I take that switch off, it's the ignition switch, take that off and swap it with the other one that I've got that's still good off my old column that was in here. Pretty much the only thing I'm upgrading is a tilt column. We still have your regular high and low and off wipers, your spray, you got tilt, and you have your accessory where you can turn it back and have the radio on, all that good stuff. That's an ugly looking steering wheel. So anyway, the main issue, the reason why I changed all this was because the steering column broke. Part of it was my issue, or my fault. I took it apart, tried to get it back together. It would not go back. I have absolutely tried and tried and tried, and I cannot get it go back. The issue is, this little guy has to line up with the teeth of the gear inside of here. And it has to go exactly in sequence, or it will not work. It will not bolt back together. There's, I believe, 4 8mm bolts or 7mm. They go here. That holds this whole piece in. You got to remove the turn signal switch and all that good stuff, and you see the all internals. The bearing's good. Everything else is fine. I took it all apart to do the turn signal cam because it was worn out, and a few months of other things. And when I took it apart, well, this got out of sequence and I couldn't get it to go back. Like I said, I've tried and I just can't get it. So anyway, went on Marketplace, found another one, and now we're into this issue. I do notice this switch is different too. So I'm going to change the neutral safety switch. Great. Not looking forward to that. I mean, it's just as simple as, you know, swapping it over, but it should be in the same. I don't understand why they're different. However, this has 2 different connectors, and this one has different pins of how they line up. This one is straight down. You can see what I'm talking about. They're straight down, and then the pin's over. The other one, they're down, and then this one's over, and then this one's over here or something like that, and it's just not lining up. So I had to change the neutral safety switch, or the ignition switch, and the neutral safety switch. The high beam indicator switch is fine. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But everything else got to be changed. I got to take this bracket off, put it on mine, and I I would assume that everything else will work. I don't know. I need to go online and make sure that these are not different between tilt columns and ones that are not tilt. Just in case, because the rods could be different length. And I may have to change the rods over too. I don't know. Need to look into that. So, and also I did find a Jeep steering shaft. Here's that one here. From, I think it was a 95 Jeep Cherokee. It can't be a Grand Cherokee, and it's only from 1996 back. So the only things you have got to modify is this end that goes to the bottom of the steering column that sticks out of the firewall. If you notice, this one has a bolt that goes through at an angle or through the slide. This one has a straight through bolt. It's not going to work. So to fix this issue, you line them up, put a hole into this side, drill a hole in that side and this side, get a bolt, a washer, and a locking nut, and call it done. I just got to drill the hole and should be good to go on that part, and it should work. It is a tad bit longer when it comes to collapsing, but I'm not really worried about it. It should be just fine. As luck would have it, they are different switches. So, not sure what to do about that besides going to the junkyard and getting the two connectors that goes to the switch that's on the column. Because even if I did swap the switches around, the ignition switches, the rods could be different, which is exactly what I was thinking that was gonna have to happen. And I'm not about to switch the rods, because in order to do that, you got to remove the whole end cap of the steering column, and I'm not doing that because I did it on here and I can't get it back. So when I go to the junkyard, another 40-minute drive when the rain clears up, and grab the two connectors that go here from another S10. I know there's one that's there that is the exact same setup. It's a red steering column, which is the only reason I didn't get one from the junkyard. I didn't want red. I was trying to make it a numbers or color matching interior. So, guess we'll head to the junkyard when the rain clears up. Alright, so back on the S10 again a few days later. Now that the rain's finally cleared up, the sun's back out. At least for today anyway. So, the steering shaft, it's done. It's painted. It's ready to go. The hole's drilled to a 3/8 hole. Picked up some bolts, washers, lock nuts, and some, it was on sale, thread locker for the bolt that goes to the steering gearbox down there. It's supposed to be torqued to, I think it's like 33 foot-pounds. And then this one up here is going to be a little different. Just going to get it as tight as I can. We'll put some Loctite on it. Use that lock washer or lock nut. Alright, steering shaft is in. Torqued to spec. It's done. So now, old S10 has an upgraded steering shaft. Hopefully it'll last a heck of a lot longer than the factory rag joint that these came with. Looks a lot cleaner look too because it's painted. Plus the factory ones have that stupid plastic cover that just takes up so much room and you can't get to anything. So now the battery's hooked up. See if it'll start with the new column that's in it. Right, so a little update on this part. Column is in. It's bolted in. Bolted in, firewall, all that stuff's done. The connectors are plugged up. Come to find out, when I talked to a few guys on the forum, they said that you could actually swap the connectors around and turn them upside down and they'll plug in the other way. Because apparently, ones that have a tilt column and ones that are non-tilt, it's the same type of switch, but the rods are different, and you can apparently swap the stuff around and it'll all work. Well, I did that. So this is a moment of truth. The little wiper switch arm, can't get no light in here. Wiper switch arm, I went ahead and replaced that guy. It's got all the little lettering on it. It shows you what everything is. The key switch is brand new. New keys. So, and it doesn't do the door chime. I don't like that. That kind of sucks. I lost that part, but at least it does that still. Everything still works. Let's make sure we got hazards. Yep, got hazards. Got park lights, headlights, high beam, low beam. Both tail lights working. Tag lights are working. Marker lights are working. Alright, so all that works. The next thing to do, real quick, is the brake switch. This broke when I put the column in, because I wasn't paying attention. And the high beam switch, which is right here, actually hit the brake switch that goes here. And it broke the knob off on the very end, as you can tell. So that switch is no good. So picked up another one. It's like $13.99. Not bad. I'm gonna pop this thing in, and something else I need to check is the reverse lights. See if it starts in park. See if it starts in neutral. Let's see. All right, so it's in park. All right, so it still starts. Neutral. Yeah, kind of. A lot more fast when quicker whenever you hit the key. Does the reverse lights work? Uh-oh. Okay, so we got a problem. You got to do this to kind of get the backup lights to work. So that means the neutral safety switch is probably shot. And those are LEDs, but I guess I'm going to have to order up a neutral safety switch and replace that later. But at least, see, it's not wanting to start neutral now. Yeah, there's something not right with that neutral safety switch down there. Not sure why. Well, it does turn backwards, so I still have that feature. Let's see if it runs before I do the brake light switch. I heard fuel in the bowl. Wow, it feels good to hear this thing run again after like a month of sitting. Even though the motor's junk. Turn signals. Yep. Right one. Yep. So everything works. It's not loosey-goosey like the other one. I still have the other turn signal cam to replace just in case this one goes out. I'm not going to do it right now. It works. The brake lights work. Of course, I'm about to find that out, so. How do you like my new air cleaner? Modified. Got it from O'Reilly's. It's an O'Reilly's air cleaner. I gotta get a new filter. Don't comment, I already know. Gotta get a new air filter. I'll pick up one from O'Reilly's. I got one for like $12.99 on the shelf. But it's actually an aftermarket one that's round for a regular small block. But it has the guts of the factory air cleaner on the bottom, so it actually works. It does need to be painted. It looks hideous. So I'll get some paint on it. And a new air filter tomorrow. If everything else works, it runs. Sounds good. Column's fixed. And the steering's tight. No more play. Whole lot better. Dadgum, it's never started that fast. Huh. Brake lights are fixed. They work. They do their magic. Everything works. So I'm going to button up that dash, take it for a spin, see how good the steering is on it, and I think we're going to call this one good. Changing the steering shaft, upgraded, and brand new column, basically like from a junkyard. And what's funny is I got to do this whole job over again, probably about 2 more times, because this one is loose, really bad. It's side to side, up and down, in and out. Like it's like a telescoping steering column. Shouldn't be like that. And then the steering shaft itself on this one is shot. And grab it by hand. Look at this. I mean, it is gone. So it's gonna have to have that. Probably have to find 2 more steering shafts. I got a buddy that needs one. I got to get one for this. Either that or I take the one from my S10, put it on here, and just leave it. But I'd like to upgrade it like the S10, especially if I'm keeping this thing. And then what better yet, I got a buddy, another buddy, he's got an S10. He dropped it off. Look at this. Oh yeah, side to side, up and down, in and out, all the good stuff. He wants another column put in it. More than likely what had happened is the 3 or 4 bolts that are in here, they're Torx head bolts, need to be pulled out, Loctited, thrown back in it, and it should be good. But he has a problem with the wiper or the blinker or something, another, and he wants to find another column. So if I can find another column, I'll be doing this job just again. Now, is the steering shaft shot on his? Don't know. And it's got some play, but that looks like steering column part, not the actual rag joint. Side to side, maybe. Ooh. Maybe I have to put a rag joint in this one, or a steering shaft. So if you would go ahead on down there in the comment section, let me know what you think about all this. And like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Appreciate it. As always, guys, there'll be more content coming your way. S10 content and whatever else. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. I'll catch you in the next one later. It's pretty much just a messy video all over the place, but a little behind the scenes upgrading the old S10. Slowly but shortly getting there. And that motor swap's coming. I promise you, it's coming. Alright, back at another junkyard. Here we got an 84, I believe it is, Chevrolet S10 pickup, 2-wheel drive, 2.8 carbureted V6 with a manual 4-speed. How sweet is that? Pull the dipstick out, and we still got some on there. It's not even that dirty either. No coolant. Yeah, no coolant. The battery that was in it, I disconnected it, tried to start it inside. The key's broken off in the lock cylinder switch, and so I come out here. I got the firewall cover for a buddy, but the heater cover. Anyway, took a ratchet or a screwdriver and jumped the starter out here, and it would barely turn over, like the motor was locked up. So definitely something wrong with it. It's probably more than likely why it was junked. That sucks. Another one down off the road, but parts for me, I guess. Not really much of anything that I need or that I can use. Somebody beat me to it, and they got the grill and the bezels. I was after those. I don't really need any 2.8 parts. I can still get a water pump, so no sense in grabbing that. So, you know, I don't need a carburetor. Don't need an air cleaner. I already got 2 extras that I got from a junkyard. So, yeah, this one's in processing. It's not been, had the fluids drained or nothing like that, so that's why I still got oil in it. Doors all to pieces, so she's got some mileage. It is beat up. Yeah, hinges are gone. How many miles? That's probably 126,000, or maybe 226. I don't know. But there's the key. Oh my God, I did not notice that until this now. Super studs. Okay. Well, at least they were using protection. So anyway, on a better note, 4-speed shifts, and it's tight. You know, it springs back like it's supposed to be. So maybe it's just 126,000. It sucks that it's here. Maybe, you know, if it wasn't such a pain in the butt, I'd actually grab all that stuff and turn mine into a manual, because the automatics with these V6s suck. They just are not great. They fall on their face. They got no power. It just sucks all the way around. Just like the 2.5, they're just as well as about the same way. I had an automatic, which was in my truck. It sucked. I had a manual that I never put on YouTube that I had bought cheap, and it had a blown head gasket, but I took it down the road, and I mean, it would squall the tires, and I was really, really amazed at that. I'd never seen a 2.5 scream like that before. But with a manual, and it being a V6, oh yeah, she'll have a whole lot more get up and go. But you got to remove the dash, and I'd have to cut the firewall out and the floor, and I just don't feel like modifying all that right now. If I could find a cab with the same dash, that'd be great, because you got to remove the dash too, if I'm not mistaken, to do the clutch pedal assembly, just to get one out and get one in, and that's just a lot of work. So this is pretty much the death of this one. There's not really much left that could be used for me anyway. So, just another junkyard visit.